Rob and Slim Show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? This is Matthew Brockmeyer, a.k.a. Humbolt Lycanthrope, correct?
That's me.
Nice.
Congratulations on your 100th show.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. And you're an author from Whitethorn, California, correct?
That is right.
Nice, dude. Where is that in California? Not
Humboldt
that I know
County.
the area. Oh, Humboldt County. Cool. Nice, dude. Nice. They got some good shit out there, right?
Oh, we got some good wine, good weed, redwood trees, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Oh, he was on the show earlier.
He's a fan of ours. Yeah.
He called to congratulate us on our 100th. So, nice, dude. Nice. And how many books have you written?
I have one book that I am trying to get published right now, but I've had several of my short stories published in anthologies and magazines and such.
Cool. What? How long have you been writing for?
Oh, too long. Ancient. Long time.
What?
But there's an anthology coming out tomorrow with one of my short stories in it. It's a collection of fractured fairy tales called After the Happily Ever After, being released by Transmundane Press. My story is called Nightingale, and it's a retelling of the Hans Christian Andersen story. It takes place in a 1910 brothel. It involves a black magic practicing madam and an opium-addicted prostitutes.
Nice, dude. That sounds sick. Sounds sick. What? So you retold the original story in your own way?
That's right. Yes.
What went into that? Like,
well, the original story is about an empress who has a beautiful nightingale with a beautiful voice, but she shuns the physical, organic bird for a mechanical, jewel-encrusted robotic bird. Okay. So in my story, I have the piano player at the brothel be shunned for a player piano.
That's a great rendition. I like that, dude. And that's going to be in a collection of stories called Fractured Fairy Tales.
The collection is called After the Happily Ever After, and it's being released tomorrow.
Cool. When is that going to be available? Like, on where? On where?
Transmundanepress.com.
Is it digital or like a hard copy?
Physical
hard
copy?
Copy print.
Nice, dude.
Awesome,
That's
man.
awesome.
And I got some other stories coming in magazines real soon. I got a real gnarly story called Joyride about punk rock junkies living under a bridge that are haunted by a little girl they hit with a stolen car. That's going to be in Not One of Us, either in their January special edition or Not One of Us number 57 in April. Paper magazine.
It's crazy to think that people still read magazines. Like, that's great. Like, I like that. Like, I recently converted from like digital everything to like actually ordering books because it's just so much better actually having the book than reading it on. But it's crazy. I to know that there's still like magazines out there like that. Like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. What I checked on YouTube. So is it you that narrated it or somebody else? It was a story called where is it? I have it written here. The Long List.
That's not me. That's probably Joel. Was it Let's Read?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's Joel. He's got an incredible voice, doesn't he?
It was great. It was really good. It was a great story and a great telling of it, man. Great narration.
So do you?
He just did another story of mine that's going to be. It's going out in a print, electronic, and podcast from Timeless Tales magazine. So big shout out to Joel, man. He's a great guy.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. What were you gonna ask?
I was going to say you primarily write in the horror genre.
Primarily, yeah.
Do you write any other?
Have you dabbled
styles?
Oh yeah. Well, literary fiction, of course, but I do a little bit of sci-fi. But everything I do is transgressive. Kind of shocking.
I like that. I know. I loved a lot of it about murder and drugs and on all that shit. That was great. That was so cool to check out some of your stuff. Yeah, and you don't like just the language, like how you describe people. This fat fuck. Like I love that shit. I loved it. It's just how people talk.
Oh well, thank you very much.
No problem, dude. So the book you're trying to get published now, what is that called again?
The book I'm trying to get published is called Kind the Pence. which is a line from The Raven. Nepenthe is just basically a drug. So in The Raven, he says, "Quaff, oh quaff this kind Nepenthe and forget that lost Lenore." So he's basically getting fucked up to try to forget how his heart was broken. So it's about some young kids who go way out in the hills of Humboldt County to grow pot and end up on a haunted grow scene and are tormented by the tweaker neighbors. And there's biker ghosts and all kinds of fun stuff.
Nice. How long did it take to write that?
Couple years. Wow. Yeah, I've actually gotten some positive responses from some publishers, so I don't know, keep your fingers crossed.
Nice, dude. That's amazing.
How long have you been trying to get it published?
6 months.
Okay. Is it more difficult trying to get like a full book published than a short story?
You know, I talk to authors a lot. I interview authors for Culture Vultures magazine and for Alephi Arts and Literature, and they always say it's easier to get a novel published than a short story, but I've had lots of short stories published, and it is a bitch getting this novel published, I'll tell you what.
Oh, wow. I was going to say that would be a great sign, then, if you've gotten that many short stories published. I figured you can get a book easily.
So do I.
And so, like, the same people that publish the short stories, like, they don't publish novels?
Well, this collection that's coming out tomorrow, you know, they publish novels, and I sent them a query, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
Nice.
I've also heard that if you write like nonfiction and you try to break into fiction, or vice versa, that it's kind of hard to do that too. Like, because like the publishers will brand you.
Well, Well,
like, I guess the same thing as being an actor. Yeah, like if you play a cop, you always play a cop.
You'll be Urkel.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants you
Yeah.
for nothing. So you'll always be the Lamborghini.
Right, yeah, you're always going to be rubbing your belly
You're
against
gonna be
another
ours
man's
and
belly.
just screaming belligerent things and drinking a lot. Oh, that's great.
He's going to get casting as just a drunk that screams a lot of movies.
Drunken
like
screamer. and slapping holes in walls. Matthew, I wanted to ask you, we first connected, right, when we told the Michael Nemeth story, right?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
And you had work stolen by him, correct?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, okay, cool. I was.
But I've had friends who have. One of my friends is dealing with it right now.
Because somebody messaged us a few weeks ago that there's another whole book he stole people's stories from, and
Yep, and one of my friends is in there.
But what is great is our video of us exposing him. Whenever he releases anything, people just come back to us and they see our video gets views, so we're spreading the word. And
I think we were one of the only people too that talked
really
about
addressed it.
Yeah, because I was told like other people were approached and they didn't.
Definitely spread that video to authors.
Yeah. Well, I guess because a lot of people were afraid of legal issues, and we're kind of just like, whatever, fuck it. This dude's stealing.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna take from me? You're stealing already.
We should make a public service announcement, like against Michael Nemeth.
Do you know, Matthew, from the first thing he stole, did any of those authors get any sort of compensation out of that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really try to keep out of it. The reason I'm in it now is my friend Jonathan Nash is dealing with him. So
wow.
What does he have to go through to do? Like when somebody steals your work, like what do you go through to get that corrected?
That's a good question. He'd love to hear an answer. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, right.
It's not easy. That sucks.
Have you ever had anything stolen?
Yeah, I actually have. Over at that, oh God, what is the name of that? Some stupid internet site. I went over there and there was a whole bunch of my stuff. But I got them all shut down.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I guess you got to be careful, like, posting up on the internet because there's all sorts of weirdos out there.
Yeah, it happens.
That sucks. Yeah, but it's also a great place to get your stuff out there. Like, it's like a catch-22.
I'd be lost without it, probably. Yeah.
People are crazy. I actually saw one of my friends just posted on Facebook the other day that he has had people just copy and paste it, like not share
like
his status,
statuses.
Just copy and paste his statuses word for word as if it was their own, and I'm like, that's fucking nuts. Like, especially when on Facebook you could just share people's.
Well, I don't think if their shit's private. I think if their stuff is set to private, it won't share. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So yeah, that's why I copy everybody's stuff.
A funny thing, if you think about it, is some of these creepypastas are so awful that the authors themselves won't admit to having written them.
That's funny. And I think that's
My
what Michael
buddy
Neiman's
Umby,
mainly...
he's got a hilarious
from.
YouTube show where he narrates creepypastas that were so bad they were deleted from the Wikia site.
That's a great. What's that channel?
It's Deleted Creepypasta Theater by Umby's
That's
World.
awesome.
I gotta look that up. That's gotta be fun.
Well, that's kind of like I was thinking, like,
Hilarious.
talking about getting your work stole. Like, when you post something on a site like Creepypasta, you kind of, like, have to think, like, all right, I'm giving people the okay to steal my work. 'Cause it's not, you know.
Well, on the Wikia, every time you publish a story, it's automatically copyrighted to you on the bottom.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't know that.
I had no idea. That's cool. That's awesome. What do you have in the works now, or are you just trying to get that one book published? Are you writing another one right now?
I am writing another novel that also takes place in a whorehouse in the turn of the 20th century. It's a love story about a werewolf and a whore with a parasitic twin.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Do you do actual research on the time era when you write these?
Big time. You know, all of this area where I'm writing about was all a red light district from about 1880 to 1950. And it's right up the road, about 60 miles from me, and it's a really fascinating time period.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, what is the most interesting thing you've learned about that time period?
Oh, it was a lot. They kicked the Chinese out in 1876, I think. That was pretty wild, that they could have a complete expulsion of a people. They just put them on a boat, and Chinese were not allowed in Eureka until the 1950s.
Wow.
It's crazy. The racism and xenophobia at the time is just mind-blowing.
That sounds like right now with Trump getting in.
I'm not going to go there.
So would you say then that a lot of your inspiration for your writing comes from your love for history?
A fair amount, yes, definitely.
Oh, man.
That's cool.
That's fucking
dude.
awesome.
Matthew, could you read us an excerpt from one of your books?
I absolutely can.
Awesome.
So, I got a little...
We're just going to mute the mic, so if you don't hear us, we just don't want to interrupt you.
Okie dokie. This is a Christmas story, a Noel in Black. The doors to the homeless shelter shut in 10 minutes, but Caleb needed another drink. It was Christmas Eve, 1970, and he was wandering the streets of Eureka, California in a tattered and filthy Santa suit, crimson hat perched atop his head, dirty beard pulled down around his neck, a streak of vomit running down his left leg. When the Salvation Army gave him the costume days ago, how many now? 3, 4? It had been brand new and shiny clean, but he had gone AWOL as soon as he had begged up enough money for a good drunk. He couldn't believe how easy it was to get money begging in a Santa suit during the holidays, especially when people thought they were giving to the Salvation Army. Too bad, he thought, that the racket had to end tonight, but fuck it. He was headed to the nearest bar and had a pocket full of money. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a slang song tonight. Finally managing to make eye contact with the simian-faced bartender who was absent-mindedly pushing a dish towel up and down a pint glass. Caleb waved a $5 in there. Red and green Christmas tree lights flickered over the bottles and mirrors, and off in the corner the ghost of Christmas past grinned its hard smile. The bartender nodded acknowledgement and strutted over. Yeah, what do you want? Beer and a whiskey. What kind of beer? What kind of whiskey? The cheapest. The bartender got him his drinks and left his change in front of him. Sipping the bitter medicine, Caleb noticed a woman a few stools down trying to draw his attention, a jet of blue smoke issuing from her cherry-red lips as she raised and lowered her thickly penciled eyebrows. He could tell she had done her best to look good tonight, lots of eye makeup, wore hipper-looking clothes, but he could see the wrinkles in her face, recognized her need like a bad smell. Battered, needy women gave off a stink of desperation he'd learned to recognize over the years, those years since he'd been back from the war. He had his fair share of these types, always good for a warm bed and a hot meal, but too crazy to spend any real time with. Hey there, Santa. Buy a girl a drink?
Just let it go.
Sure thing.
Just like, okay.
Sure thing, honey. Caleb glanced at the barkeep. Give the lady what she wants. She slid down next to him as the bartender mixed a rum and coke, speared a lime with a tiny sword, and dropped it in the glass. I've always had a thing for Santa, she whispered. come in late at night to punish the naughty and reward the nice? Yeah, and what are you, darling? Naughty or nice? I've always thought I was a little bit of both. Ha! What's your name, baby? Sandra. They call me Sandy around here, but I always thought of myself as a Sandra. All right, Sandra, what's your story? Just a local girl, been in the same place too long. What about you, Santa? Don't you got a lot of work to do tonight? Caleb laughed that deep, reassuring laugh he'd mastered over the years to put people, women especially, at ease. They talked for a while. Then Caleb ordered a pitcher of beer and a couple more shots, and they moved to a corner booth. Sandra talked on and on, chain-smoking Salems while he drank his beer and sipped his whiskey, watching as the room began to spin in slow, psychedelic, and nauseating circles. You're awful quiet. I've been told that before. How'd you get them scars on your neck? Caleb put his hand to his neck, let it drift down to the dirty fake beard, and pulled the knotted gray and black mess of hair over to cover his throat. And that wicked ghost of Christmas past with sunken eyes and yellow teeth whispered to him, "Tell her." And so Caleb did. In the war, you were over in Nam, huh? Yeah, 2 tours. And then what? You come back here to have these damn hippies spitting at you? I feel for you, sweetie. My dad died fighting Nazis in France. Now my brother's in the Navy while this country goes to shit. You got these bastards like that dirty Abby Hoffman trying to steal everything. And this Charlie Manson family killing movie stars. She laughed, shook her head, and sipped her drink. It's enough to make you sick. They grew quiet. So, you going to tell me about those scars or what? Well, I was a coochie cootie, a tunnel rat. You know what that is? Oh, yeah, you were one of those guys that go down in those gook holes? Sure was. Infantry, 1st Reconnaissance Squadron. He sighed, not wanting to get into it, but once he started, it was always hard to stop. I was working 3 clicks west of Duck Fu down in a tunnel. Just me, my .45, and a flashlight, looking out for booby traps and rats and spiders, and this animal came out of nowhere, fucking attacked me. Just latched onto my shoulder, wouldn't let go. Oh, baby, you was attacked by an animal down in one of those tunnels? Yeah, but when I killed it, when I shot it, he couldn't tell her the rest. He couldn't tell after he had shot that thing, the muzzle blast, the blinding light, the report deafening. After he had filled that monster full of holes and watched it drop, it looked just like a little girl. Just a tiny, raven-haired girl all shot up and bloody. Well, moments ago it had been a beast, a mess of lurching fangs and drool. He moved he moved up and down silently. He couldn't say anything. Then, with an incredible effort, what he managed to say was, I think I brought something back with me. You brought something back with you? You mean like Agent Orange stuff, honey? No, something different. Something. What, in your head? He wanted to say no, something in my blood. I brought back something in my blood that makes me a monster. But instead, he just nodded yes, his face a knot, visibly fighting to not break down in tears. Oh, baby, I understand. The room was twirling now at a breakneck speed. He was going to be sick. He pulled away from her and vomited on the floor. Son of a bitch, the bartender shouted. Who's going to clean that up? Caleb hung over the edge of the booth, retching and dry-heaving. Fuck you, Sam. He's a veteran. He fought for this country, got attacked down in one of them holes. What the fuck you ever done? I don't care if he was on the beach at Normandy. Get him the fuck out of here. You're a piece of work, a real piece of work, Sam. You know that? Where's your sense of the Christmas spirit? The bartender came stomping up, eyes bulging and accusing finger extended. Get your cheap whore ass out of here, bitch, and take your Santa Claus friend with you. He grabbed her face and jerked her chin up so that he could look her in the eye. This bar ain't no place for you anymore, Sandy. You make my customers sick. Everyone who's wanted to fuck you has, and none of them's too proud of it. You don't belong here. Find some other place to haunt. With that, he tossed her head aside and stomped back behind the bar. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sandra walked Caleb back to the motel room she rented by the month, holding him up the whole way while he leaned against her, mumbling and pointing to ghosts she could not see. Once they were back at her room, she helped him out of his Santa outfit and got him into the tub. In the heat of the steamy water, he regained a semblance of consciousness, came back to himself. When he looked up, he saw her through the mist, leaning in the doorway, staring at him. She had changed and was now wearing nothing but a silk kimono. He had to admit, she didn't look half bad. How you feeling, Santa? Good, I feel... He paused, unsure what to say, how he actually felt. Good. She knelt down beside the tub, ran her finger over the surface of the water. Thirsty, she asked, holding up a tumbler of scotch. As a matter of fact, I am. Taking the glass into his hands, he took a sip, handing it back to her. She gave him a penetrating stare that he found hard to decipher and then leaned in to kiss him. She tasted of whiskey, cigarettes, and peppermint, but it was good. The way she gently ran her tongue over his upper lip before she pulled away. Now you're all cleaned up. Why don't we get you to bed? Sounds good, baby. Dry yourself off. I'll be waiting. With that, she disappeared at the door. He got up from the tub, dried himself the best he could with the cheap, tiny towels the motel provided. When he entered the room, she was already on the bed, prone on her back and naked. She may have been a butterface, but her body was to die for. She knew how to flaunt it. He started towards her, but she held up her hand, palm out toward him, and exclaimed, "Stop right there, mister. The Santa suit. Put it on." He gave her a questioning half grimace and smiled. "You serious? I told you. I got a thing for Santa." Smirking, he pulled on the dirty jacket and set the conical hat atop his head. "Better? Oh, yeah, baby. I've been so naughty. I need to be punished." With that, she burst out in playful laughter, turned over on all fours and stuck her ass in the air, whispering over his shoulder, "Come and get it, Santa." He approached the bed, still standing, pulled himself into her. She let out a deep moan and began to move. He was still drunk as hell and the room was spinning, but he could feel that primal urge within to rock and rotate. He began to lunge faster and faster, and then suddenly it was happening again. Fuck. No, 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 it was happening again. He could feel himself beginning to change as he thrust against her. A part of him wanted to run away, to bolt through the door and into the night so he wouldn't hurt her, but another part of him wanted this. It felt so good. It felt so fucking good to let go and let the animal inside him take over. Still pounding, Sandra moaning beneath him, he watched in wonders as his fingers, tightly gripping her bony hips, became claws, and a thick mat of fur began to weave itself up his arms. Thrusting against her with all his might, he lifted his face and began to howl as his mouth filled with sharp, gleaming fangs. "Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane." Margaret Ashton was the manager of the Lone Pone Motel. She had been across the street visiting her daughter and grandson in their two-story cookie-cutter house, and she was just walking back to the motel office when she heard the screaming in room 308. It was that cheap tramp Sandy's room. Margaret had been waiting for an excuse to evict her and marched right up to the door, ready to throw her out, Christmas Eve or not. But as she grew closer and heard the urgency to the screams, the gut-wrenching terror of the squeals, she grew hesitant and stopped. Suddenly, without warning, the window shattered, showering her with glass and splintered wood. She fell back and slipped to the ground, watching in utter disbelief as the craziest thing she had ever seen in her life of 56 years came tumbling down atop her. It was a wolf, a huge monster of a wolf, with a snarling mouth of fangs dripping blood and drool, and it was wearing a red coat lined in white fur with a Santa cap perched atop its head. How's that?
Awesome, dude. Thank
That was
you.
really cool, man.
That was great.
Glad you liked it, guys.
Thank you so much.
We liked it a lot, man. That was cool. That was awesome.
That's how I met Joni.
Our intern Pete, he met his girlfriend the same way.
Yeah.
And she's 90 years old, so she might be. But Matthew, where can everybody find you?
MatthewBrockmeyer.com is my website, and Matthew Brockmeyer, the Humbolt Lycanthrope, on Facebook.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. That was a great interview, man.
Hey, can I give a quick shout-out to a couple people?
Absolutely.
I want to say hi to my creepypasta friends. Travis Coleman, he's known as MP Real and Active. He's got a debut novel on Amazon called A Good Ending. Hey to Mr. Dupin, Shadow Swimmer, Ruckus Quantum, a great graphic designer, J10, Banning, Creepy Thomas O, and to my writing group, The Circle of Darkness, Chris, Greg, Wendy, Brian, Jonathan, and Repo. Thanks so much for all your help, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, guys.
Anytime. Have a great night, dude. And a
Thank
great
you, you
holiday.
too. All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
brother.
Christmas to you too,
Happy
man.
holidays.
You too.
Take care.